Hey Empoweristas, it's Alex Worley. I'm joined by Amy Paffrath, TV host and actress. You most recently saw her on VH1's Dating Naked. And speaking of, you're in a place where I can so relate to, and that's a transitional period because you just got done with this amazing gig and now you get to create something more on your own. Tell me about what you're working on right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great place to start. I'm kind of going through that transition period where I'm feeling amazingly creative. I'm kind of going back to the soul-searching part of me, going, what do I want to say to the world? What parts of my tool belt haven't been used in a while, and what do I want to sharpen? So I've really been working on some pitch ideas, which Tell Me Something Good. It's a podcast that I do. I want to take that to the next level. So I'm really working on bringing in some people to help that, because I think a lot of getting a one-up in success is also bringing on people that know more than you do.
Yeah, totally.
And asking for help and knowing that we can't do any of this alone. I'm really just trying to align with people that get that and that want to grow and spread these positive, uplifting, amazing messages to the world. So
yeah,
that's what I'm trying to work on.
And I feel like sometimes creating space in our life in that transitional period can be such a blessing, even though sometimes it feels so much easier to just be like, bring on the opportunities, let them come to me. But being forced to sit in that space of like, okay, there isn't a huge opportunity in front of me right now
that you can see.
That you can see, exactly.
Right.
So what do I want to create? It really forces you into this beautiful space of like owning your purpose and what you want out of life, right?
Yeah, and at first it's kind of tough because you're forced. It's like comes to a screeching halt.
You're like, this is not my house, this is not for me.
I didn't ask for this. But it's really nice because in those quiet moments is when we really hear those voices deep inside of us that are telling us what our true calling, our true passion is that we might have let go of, because when you're on a schedule, when you're on a show, it's great. You don't have to worry. You don't have to go back to that kind of survival aspects of your personality. So you're kind of coasting a little bit.
And it's fun, and
it
can be glamorous, and it's easy. So there's nothing that makes you want to go, you know what, I'm going to take a break from this to do some soul searching.
We need that time where we are forced to slow down. You don't have a regimented day with all these appointments. You're just like left to your own devices going, what do I do with my time? What do I want to focus my energy on? Because and it's freedom, which is a beautiful thing. And I've learned to love that in these last couple of weeks and last couple of months. I'm really like, this is a gift. It's not going to be like this forever.
No.
Things are going to start whirlwinding again, and I'm going to wish for these quiet moments. So you have to just take everything as it comes and really respect where you're at, because it's a long, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I'm not done.
Yes.
This is the middle. I don't even think I've reached my stride yet.
Yeah. TMZ approached you out of nowhere when you were done with an event, and I would have been so scared, but you handled it so gracefully. They asked you about your departure from VH1's Dating Naked. What was that like when they were coming up to you?
It was interesting because that had happened once before. So it was while I was filming the show. So they had come up to me and asked me about the new season. And so it was the same guy, and he saw me again and had heard about it. And I was actually not necessarily ready to talk about it yet, but I was glad that it happened because it was something that I was dealing with personally, and I knew wasn't going further for me, but nobody else did. So people kept asking me, when are you leaving for the show? When are you shooting? And it was so heart-wrenching to have to explain that over and over that I was kind of relieved to just be like, this is my chance to get it off my chest. And I'm not bitter about it. It's something that happened in this industry. It happens. It did force me to grow in some big ways.
I think your reaction is the epitome of an empowerista, because some people would take that and see it as rejection and be jaded about it and be mad about it, but you just see it for what it is, and that's things are always changing.
Yeah.
And sometimes a network's needs are different, and at the end of the day, you are proud of how you handled yourself. You know that they were happy with you.
Right.
And so you're truly seeing it what it is, and then moving on and just seeing it as an opportunity to do something different and better.
100%. And I'm not going to say that that was easy.
Yeah.
The first week, it really wasn't. It took me a minute to go, I got to catch my breath, because this is what my world was a little bit shattered for a moment, and it was part of my identity, which is something that I really come to terms with, that no job is your identity.
Talk about that.
I had to kind of shake myself out of that. Like, I am not Amy Paffrath, the TV host. I am not Amy Paffrath, the actress. I am Amy Paffrath, the human being who wants to connect with people on a much bigger level than just being a face on a TV show. So it really got me out of that this is me, it's not me. My soul and my core has nothing to do with what TV show I'm a part of or what commercial I'm on or what brand I'm representing.
Yeah, you're so grounded. And I'm a big proponent of staying true to what your purpose is and your why. Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Because it can take so many different forms. And like you said, you want to connect with people, and you got to do that for Dating Naked.
Yeah.
And then now you get to do it in a different way. There's so many different ways to do that.
There
It doesn't
really
have to
are.
be in one form.
No, not at all. And even that job was such a surprise. Things have come and gone. And I know that everything is temporary, and even these periods of being in the valleys, you're going to have a peak again. So it does take a little bit for you to shake out of that and remember that, like, no, pick yourself up. You're okay, because it's not about how many times you fall down. It's about getting back up again and rising above these so-called, setbacks, which it's not. I still had 2 amazing years on a show. No one can take that from me. And I know that his plan is always greater than mine, and I'm just waiting for that to be revealed very patiently.
Yeah.
And working diligently, and just staying happy and healthy, because I think that is a lot of it, is your mental position. I've been working a lot of meditation. That's something that I've found through all of this that has been a godsend, because it just helps me calm my mind and not let those voices go crazy. We all have them, and it's easy to indulge that and like have a day where you're just like, I just want to eat ice cream and feel sorry for myself. And like, no, have a bite of that ice cream and then get up and go for a hike, because you're gonna feel so much better than all the damage you just did. And just indulging that and feeding it will make it bigger. So if you indulge those positive, happy thoughts, that makes that bigger.
I think it was Elizabeth Gilbert who said that fears, doubts, all that stuff is always going to exist, but it's kind of like the child in the back seat where you're like, I know you're back there, but I'm still driving.
Yeah.
So it's like you acknowledge that those things exist, but you don't give them power. You don't latch onto them. And I feel like meditation really helps with that, where it's like you can acknowledge it, you don't have to ignore it, but you move on and choose different, more positive thoughts, right?
Choose to see the light. I think that's the same as tell me something good. You know that little kid's back there in the back seat, but you're driving. You're driving the ship. So 100%, you can be in charge of your own thoughts and your own destiny. And I think that's super important to grasp a hold of. And also in those quiet moments when you're just turning off the world, you hear those voices inside of you. And it kind of brings you back to these very spiritual, very deeply rooted wants and desires that you might not have even been paying attention to. So it's really cool. It's kind of one of those things where I started realizing, like, maybe having a family is something that I've put on the back burner that could be in the closer future than I thought. So when you're on this grind and you're moving and you're going and you're living this life, it's why shake that up? But now you're it's already shaken up. So it's making me kind of be more mindful of those relationships in my life that are very important and need nurturing too.
So tell me more about your podcast.
So the podcast started just out of me wanting to share good news. I am a person that loves hearing people's good news, and I don't think we get enough of that. At least when I turn on the real news, it's sad and depressing. It makes me feel really like the world is hopeless, and I don't want to go outside, and oh my God, so many bad things are gonna happen to me. So I just wanted to start sharing all those kickers, the little last bits of the newscast that you just love, or these great human interest stories. There's so many of them out there. Even when a tragedy strikes, for instance, what happened in Orlando, there was a man, I think in Indiana, who made 48 crosses and drove them all the way down to Florida and set them up with the names of each of the victims.
Oh my goodness.
That's just such a cool thing that this man did. And that's the kind of reaction to something terrible that I think needs to be spread. Is like, look at the humanity that comes out of such a terrible moment. That we can take that and still see the beauty and still see the love. And these are our chances to actually show how we can actually help each other. So
I really needed your podcast that week, because I was feeling just so heavy and like you said, hopeless.
Time,
and you need things like that just to kind of lift your spirits.
Right.
And it's not to, discredit or to ignore the real things that are happening, but you have to balance it. I feel like the negative weighs more sometimes than the positive. So you have to balance it with what's good in the world.
And I don't think negativity is bad if it spurs action.
Right.
If we can do something from this bad place, then it actually was a catalyst for change, which I think is a good thing. It's like taking something and seeing what is the beauty in this, because it's everywhere. You might have to search a little harder to find it. But again, with Orlando, the lines to give blood were so long, people were getting turned away. So again, that's such a beautiful moment where all of these people were trying to step up and help. So you really have to shine the light on that, on what can come out of something that is tragic. So.
And laughter is one of those things that helps everyone feel better, and there's a lot of comedy incorporated into your podcast and so much of what you do. So tell me how you incorporate that.
Comedy is a big part of my life. I think laughter is the best medicine. I've been through some tragic events in my own life. I lost my father to ALS back in 2009, and the anniversary of his death was just a couple of days ago, so that always brings up things. But I think if you can find the humor in any situation, and even when we were going through that with my dad, he would always make light of things and make jokes and find ways to just brighten people's day. So I think that that's so important to just keep moving forward.
Yeah, and you do a lot of improv, right?
I do improv and stand-up as well.
Oh
so.
my gosh, is that so terrifying to do stand-up?
It's the most terrifying and the most rewarding thing that I do, because you're on your own, it's your material, it's my life. If people aren't really responding to it, it's just me. I don't have anyone else to bounce off of, which is okay, because you also have to not take it personally. It's like your story isn't going to resonate with everybody, and there'll be nights when you're just killing it, and others where it's maybe they're not so into you. It is what it is. But it's that immediate reaction with an audience, which is so fun.
I love what you said about how like sometimes people are going to be into you and sometimes they're not. I feel like that's just a good life lesson in general, and becoming comfortable with that people aren't always going to love you. What is the number one piece of advice you'd give to someone going through a big change?
I would tell them to just be gentle with yourself. Give yourself time to feel all the feels. Really, like let it out.
Does that include Ben & Jerry's ice cream?
It does include Ben & Jerry's ice cream. It absolutely does. You have to feel things. You can't deny that they're there. So let it come out, but don't indulge it. Again, you have to feel it and then rise above and dust yourself off and be like, I'm a boss lady. I got this. I can do it. And don't be afraid to share that with people, because I think that vulnerability is really powerful. Letting people know that, listen, I need a friend right now. I could really use somebody to talk to. I think that's really, really powerful. It made me connect with people in a different way, and I saw friendships shifting, which was insane. I now have 2 people in my life that weren't necessarily there 5 months ago in the way that they are now. So it's really shown me who people are. It's one of those things about, Oprah said this, everyone wants to ride in the limo with you, but no one wants to ride the bus when the limo breaks down. And that is something so true that happens.
I love it.
When you're not like on the same wavelength, when maybe you need people around you helping you up a little bit, you see who's there for you.
I think a lot of times we feel alone, so it is so nice that you were able to share with friends, because especially with social media, you look at all these people and they may not have it all figured out. Most likely they don't, because who does? But it's so easy to put on this facade on social media that you do, and you can feel so alone, right?
Yeah. It's one of those things where you look at your neighbor or you scroll through Instagram and you're like, oh my gosh, people are just killing it. Their lives are so fabulous.
Yeah.
But you have to consider that they're putting out the best piece of their day, their week, their month. Sometimes not even that day. This is like a stock photo that you saved. And
I'll totally save photos from like 2 years ago.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I think that rawness, I do this thing every once in a while called a paffirmation, and something will just come to me and I'll feel like I need to say it. And I'll say a little 15 to 20 second message just to an audience, like, don't be so hard on yourself. Pick yourself up. Everybody's going through the same battles. You're not any worse off than somebody else. So just smile. Something as simple as that. And I'll get the most comments ever, just because people are like, thank you for saying that. And just feeling like if I'm feeling vulnerable, somebody else is feeling this exact same way. So if I can help somebody by just sharing that, it's so simple just to put it out there and be like, listen, I'm not feeling so hot today, but this is what I'm doing to get through it. Somebody else will find the strength to get through it. So if we don't share it, we're not helping anyone. We're not even helping ourselves. We're glossing over it and pretending it's not there, when we actually need to give it a little bit of attention to move on.
So often we see vulnerability as a weakness, but it's actually a gift, because you're inviting somebody to connect with you on that level and to really be authentic themselves.
Right. And it allows them, I think, to break their walls down and to be who they are, because we can have these superficial relationships. They're out there, but I would rather have something way more meaningful and deep with people. And I even get people on Twitter that are sharing very personal things that might just need an extra little boost of somebody's out there looking for you or paying attention and cheering you on. And so that really makes me feel special when somebody wants to share something personal like that. I don't see it as like, whoa, that's TMI. I'm like, God bless you, I'm praying for you. And if my one little bit of encouragement gets you through another day, then I'm so grateful for that.
Lastly, what is your definition of empowerment?
I think my definition of empowerment is being a cheerleader for somebody and really breathing life into those ideas and actions and really kind of following up on that. If somebody tells me I want to do something, then I will make sure that every time I talk to them, I'm asking, what have you done to make that a goal? How is that going? And really giving that attention, because sometimes we need reminders, and sometimes I'll put out lofty goals on purpose so that people will ask me about it, because then it holds you to it. So I do think speaking it and then acting on it are two very different things. So the empowerment comes from the follow through and through the action and the follow up.
Accountability
The
as well.
accountability, yeah. And so I think there's really power in sharing your dreams. Some people are so close to what they want, but then it's going to take you twice as long to get there. The more you start sharing your ideas, the more others are like, oh, I know this person. Oh, you should meet her.
Yeah.
And the links just start coming together. So empowerment is speaking and acting.
I love it. The people in your life are so lucky.
Well, thank you.
And we are so lucky to have heard all of your wisdom. Thank you so much for chatting
Thank
today.
you. It was my pleasure, and I hope that this just helps at least one little soul out there.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you at home, let us know what your definition of empowerment is using #EmpowerRista, and we'll show you some social media love. A special thank you to our friends at Young Potential Development who are helping create a new generation of empowered women through their educational programs. September 7th on Kickstarter, they will launch the Cube that you see right here. It's made up of 11 interactive videos to help teens develop the entrepreneurial skills they need to discover their potential, develop their skills, and ultimately achieve their life goals. Be sure to follow them on Facebook and Twitter at The Cube now.